Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves a Scrap, coming to you from Land Down Under, and it is Thursday, so let's keep it simple sometimes on a Thursday, and unfortunately last Thursday I missed out due to being not well. So this week we're looking at this layout and how to utilize our mini pads to create 12 by 12. So I've gone and I've selected some sheets of paper because I need different papers to form those fishtail banners across the page, and I've chosen colours from two different pads, but they all complement each other together. So we're going with some blacks and some yellows, and that's because they're the colours in the photos. And remember, when you're creating a layout, if you want it to be complementary and subtle and work together, you need to choose colours from your photos because that will make your photo pop correctly on the page. Alright, so I have these 6x6 pads here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them into strips to make my banners, and I have cut them at a width of 1.5 inches, and the 1.5 inches allows me to lay 6 separate colours down the layout. I fold them in half at the very tip, and then I cut out a triangle, and that gives you the equal fishtail at the end. Very simple, very easy, and it looks effective. Using my 12 by 12 cardstock as my plain base, I'm going to use some aged mahogany distress oxide as my inking around the edge. Now if you don't have an inking brush, you can just use the pad like you saw me use there to ink it, and that will give you that colour in. The reason we ink it is so that it lifts off the page, it doesn't sit flat, and it adds a little bit of a shadow to the elements you're adding to your layout. In this case, it lifts it and gives it the shadow effect so it's not flat against the base. Aged mahogany, distress oxide, really versatile colour. So another great thing if you're wanting to keep it simple is using the branding strips at the end of paper. I always keep them when I'm trimming down my pages because you never know when you're going to need them, and as you see here I've used two from two very different papers, but they're coordinating with my colours nicely and they'll work my page out for me. So I'm just aligning how I want it to look. One, you'll notice that one is a little bit shorter than 6x6 and two are a bit long, so I've trimmed them down to 6x6. And it doesn't matter that the one that's short, because when I put the photo, that's going to cover that up. So when you're layering them out, you make sure that your shortest ones are where you're going to put your photo, and then you won't see the difference. Now as I'm working this, I realised when I cut the fishtail, I cut it into that black and white one and the one with the text on it in the same direction. So I actually need to recut another one so that my words are not upside down, or the numbers are not upside down. The whole idea is to lay it end to end so that it looks like it's a continuous line, and that one thin line through the middle is okay. That is just adding the detail to your layout. So as you can see, the papers are doing all the work for me. I don't have to do very much. All I've had to do is cut in the fishtail banner. Now I'm going to layer up my photo on some leftover of the paper pads that I was using, and then I've gone and got some scrap cardstock that I've got lying around in the colours of the layout. So I'm using complementary colours all across the board, and I'm offsetting these not evenly, but offsetting so that they have a jagged border and they have like a broken corner for each, and that's just a design effect. And once again, very simple, but letting the papers do the work for you. Once you place your photo down, you can then use your elements to build your clusters. And remember that when you build a cluster, you play around with it until you find the desired effect that you like. Now all of these elements are out of different ephemera packs and also from fussy cut items that I haven't used from different layouts. So I'm keeping it simple by drawing on the stock and the products that I have lying around. I did fussy cut out a few of those from that sheet that you saw at the very beginning, and that is how those clusters have come together. To keep it really simple, once again, those branding strips, they have quotes which become great titles, like you can see here. When counting my blessings, I count you twice. This is a photo of my daughter and my son-in-law at our recent trip to Sydney Zoo for the Glow event. And so this is going to go into their album that I'm going to give them at Christmas time of events of things that we've done this year. So I'm just layering up this cluster, and the way I layer it up is I glue it down, I tuck it in over the top of each other, I add foam tape to pop elements to build up the layering, and I make sure that everything overlaps and comes together. Clustering is simple if you have the elements. If you don't, fussy cut them out of your papers. It's very easy to do. And then you just build them up on top of each other, over the top of each other, until you are happy with how the cluster looks. So as you can see, I have added in the 3 hearts so that I've got 3 different focal points on my page, and that's around my photo. And then I add 3 dots of Nuvo glues in 3 strategic places around the clusters, and that draws the eye into a triangle if you look at it, and then you will see that your photo is in that triangle. So that's keeping it all very simple. Just to make that title stand out across that background, I'm just giving it an outline with a black pen, and this gives it that shadow effect that you could have by inking it or by putting it up on foam tape. But the best thing about it is I can doodle in some hashtagging so that it looks like it's got some stitching happening across that line. And the last thing that I want to add in to this layout, after you can see these clusters come together, and there's my title, there's another cluster there, and the photo is central to everything. I'm going to add in a date using my date stamper, and that's a very, very versatile tool. One of the things I recommend you should get is a date stamper. It's nice and easy for the journaling side of your layout, and I always try to put the date on it at least, because that lets the person know when this event happened. And the other thing that I'm doing is saying where it was, and it was at Glow at Sydney Zoo just recently. So as I stated, this was my son-in-law and my daughter. They were with us that night, and this layout will be going into their album for 2024. So this is how easy it is to build a layout using strips of paper, turning them into fishtail banners, building up your clusters using elements that you have laying around, or fussy cutting them out of papers to help you. Don't forget to use those branding strips and keep them, because you never know where they become handy and build up your layout. And this is just a very quick and simple layout that you can create into your albums. Remember, I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. If you like something in this layout, please give me a like. It lets YouTube know you want to see more of what I'm doing. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This is Thursday. It's keeping it simple sometimes. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Find me on my socials under that name, in Instagram, where you'll find all my layouts. Thanks for watching, and happy scrapping until next time.